Jen, and I'm going to be talking about The Tonight Show. Has anyone ever heard of it or seen it? Yeah. Well, The Tonight Show is an American late-night talk show, and it broadcasted in the Rockefeller Center in New York, and has been airing since 1954. Some background is that The Tonight Show was broadcasted in 1954, and there have been 6 official hosts. The first one was Steve Allen, which is the far left, and then it was Jack Parr, and then Johnny Carson, followed by Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, and Jimmy Fallon. So, as a Tonight Show enthusiast, I've learned a lot about the show throughout the years, and I've been watching it since middle school, and it has inspired me to pursue a television career. So, learning about the Tonight Show will show you how Carson, Leno, and Fallon became such legendary hosts and icons. So first I will talk about legendary host Johnny Carson, then I will move on to Jay Leno, and then I will talk about the present host, Jimmy Fallon. So who is Johnny Carson? Johnny Carson was one of the most recognized Tonight Show hosts and began his career in radio and television in California. And he began, and I'll go over Carson's life before host and what the show consisted of. So according to the article of history.com published in 2009 on the History website, Johnny Carson grew up in Nebraska and went to the University of Nebraska. He served in the U.S. Navy in the mid-1940s and moved to California and started working in radio and television in the 1950s. Then he moved to New York to become a host of a game show, and after that he was just a temporary host for Jack Parr, and that's where he gained experience in hosting, and he later took over the Tonight Show after Jack Parr retired. Carson took over the Tonight Show on October 1st, 1962, and hosted until 1972. The show consisted of sit-down interviews with famous athletes, actors, and TV personalities like Ellen, Robin Williams, Paul McCartney, and Eddie Murphy. So, moving on, Jay Leno was another well-known talk show host, and is a comedian who has recently retired just last year. In order to know more about the comic, I will mention where he started before the Tonight Show and his retirement. So, according to Paula Gardner, she reveals in Leno's biography, accessed on April 28, 2015, at the Museum of Broadcast Communication website, that Leno first gained fame with his stand-up comedy, and had been touring around, just doing stand-up comedy everywhere. And he was also like Johnny Carson, he was a temporary host for the Tonight Show until he later became the Tonight Show host. And when Carson retired in 1992, Jay Leno got the full-time job. And Jay Leno, he recently retired from his 22-year job as host and was replaced with Jimmy Fallon. The show was first in Burbank, and then it moved back to New York since, and to New York, and it was the first time back since 1972. So now moving on to Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is the latest host of The Tonight Show, and he recently had a full year anniversary on February of this year as The Tonight Show host. For you to get a better understanding of his career path, I will tell you his early life on Saturday Night Live and what occurred after he moved on from SNL. So, according to the biography.com access on April 27, 2015 on the biography website, Fallon began his career with stand-up comedy after high school, and he later dropped out of college short by like 15 credits to pursue his comedy career in LA. And in the 1990s, Fallon moved back to New York to fulfill his dream of being on The Tonight Show. And he was well known for his impressions and so forth. And he also was the host of Late Night and later moved on to the big deal, which was The Tonight Show. So The Tonight Show has a lot of history behind it and has had a lot of successful comedians as hosts. By providing this information about these hosts, it reveals how they worked their way up to stardom. So I went over legendary hosts Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, and Jimmy Fallon. And the show has been modernized for younger audiences throughout the years. And having this show around might be inspiring to someone who's watching today. Thank you.